Hello everybody and welcome to part 11 of my Inca El Dorado series. I want to thank you guys for taking the time to explain about Alhambra. It sounds really interesting as far as playing a science game and then just switching to military like that. We're just a few turns away from Notre Dame, and it occurred to me after I stopped recording that we finished up chivalry, but we never upgraded the horsemen, so I'm just going to do that now. And then pass our turn. Okay, wine for salt, huh? Okay, we're just gonna let that come back. Interesting. It's not available to us anymore. I mean, it's okay, right? Because we weren't, it's the same happiness either way. What's going on here? Killed an American spy. Alright, that's pretty good, because tensions were such that, from the earlier game... Oh, it already says you forgave them for spying. I didn't think it did that from me approaching them. I thought I had to wait for them to come to me and then I say I forgive you, but I wonder if that means you can double dip that. Not sure. Anyways, we can finally get to the garden in this city. And what would we have this guy do? Probably just sit tight. It doesn't much matter that he's there. Let's see what else is going on in the world. Alright, we have a caravel that's ready to go. And the southern hard edge of ice is down here, and you can see there's like a triangle here, and we're right here. So I'm thinking if we just do like an angle back, that would be a good way to, you know, clear up the visibility, and then we can start tracing along this edge. And then maybe we're up here right around the time our pikeman gets over to this little body of land. Speak of the devil, he is coming up here. I think we said level with Melbourne. Although it looks like level with Melbourne would be clipping here. So if we come down one more row, we'll get better clearance of the cloud. So let's call it one tile south. Let's see here. We do not see... There are places in our scouting where we've left a hex. Try to avoid that. I try to be more complete with my scouting these days. But this actually looks like it's a city tile, so we definitely want eyes on that. Might limit like the ability to set up trade routes and stuff like that. Okay, looks like this is a small piece of land, and we do have a pikeman coming over. 3 archers. He should be able to withstand up to all of that, no problem. So I say we just keep on clearing the cloud here. It's really hard to see. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So we'll just stay on this diagonal like this. Okay. Oh, you know what? Yeah, Melbourne wanted the city-state. And in 2 turns, oh my goodness. So we're going to get allied with them next turn, and the turn after that, we're going to be so liked by them that it would be hard for anybody to take them away from us. So that's really nice. That means even if we don't get Notre Dame, our happiness is about to go through the roof. Alright, so I'll say I forgive him. And let's see if we double dipped. It does not appear that way, so I wonder what happens if I approach him and say, hey, don't worry about it. And then he approaches me and I'll be like, ooh, I'll get you for that. Anyways, banking is here. So, Forbidden Palace, not an immediate need to rush because it's probably relatively uncontested right now. You have to have patronage, which a few people do, but technically I don't think they're this far along. We also have banks and, most importantly, another trade route available to us. A great artist has been born in the city of Cusco. Alright. So, lots going on this turn. First things first. Oh, nice. This construction project's already over with. I wanted to build the cargo ship from here so that we could send it to Machu. As far as banks go, looks like Machu's done building whatever it was building. We'll move that over there, which is the workshop. Alright. So, just a turn to get a shrine up. Let's go ahead and do that, because that is late game science. Amphitheater's current game science, but, you know, it'll take 3 turns. Let's just whip this out. We'll get to the bank once the lesser buildings are taken care of. T1 says it's going to take 12. Garden's going to take half of that. The gold's not going to contribute to our late game science like the garden will. I don't know how important the garden is, since this is an expand, but, you know, because it might end up being that this particular city only ever generates one great scientist. But if it is going to generate more than one, or, you know, even if it just generates the one, getting it sooner is obviously going to be helpful. So that's fine. We'll just do that, because we continue to grow in the city pretty well, and we've got more, like, production to pick up on the land. So by the time we get around to this, it might not even be that long anymore. So we've addressed banking as far as we can. We'll get to Forbidden Palace after Notre Dame. Again, I don't think we're in a rush. So if there's something important we can build in between, we might do that. Like, say, get the amphitheater out and then go on to the Forbidden Palace. That might be a good idea. We can take a look at that next turn. Okay, so this is nice, because then we can pick up another plains farm that Olan can week before work, before we're forced to go to the grasslands. So that's nice. We've already addressed that. Cusco has grown. Okay, so right now it's saying 6 and 1. There it's saying 5 and 1. So if one made a difference by a whole turn, there's no way the other one will. I'm not even going to bother testing it. We can just continue to work the nice mix here. Side in American now allies. Oh wait, Florence and Sweden now allies. Yep, there we go. Natural wonder discovered from Melbourne. So look at our happiness now. We will address our happiness, our luxuries in a second. Seeks a great admiral. That's unfortunate. And then Sweden no longer allies. So they were allies for like a whole half a turn. A whole half a turn. And Sidon and American are allies, which is not that big of a deal. Okay, so this guy would like our iron. So let's just get that out of the way, since that's rarer. Next we'll go to our friends Portugal, because they're the only ones capable of getting into lump sum. Although it won't be for much. I think 5 and 75 is the would be the exchange rate. As you do this more often, you just kind of learn what the numbers are, like 207 and 1, for example. I should actually start documenting that. Make myself a chart that I could have, you know, sitting on the side here. And that leaves copper, which I'm fairly comfortable with selling also, because we could survive selling that off, number one, and number two, we might have Notre Dame next turn, in which case... And keep in mind, Notre Dame's not just happiness, it's also faith, which means pagodas, which means more happiness, which means more culture, which means more science. Nice. Okay, so that guy's finished there, and in 3 turns, the only tile it will jump to is this gold. So that's what we're going to have this guy do. In fact, I'm just going to move him like this, queue it up so I don't forget. And the reason for that is 1, 2, 3. Since it's a tile we can't work, when our borders grow, we're not going to get a notification. I don't think that's a limitation of the enhanced user interface, but even if it is, like, I'm using that, so we just won't get this notification. So we will have to keep our eyes on that. And look on that. Well, we might eventually grow to encompass this gold as well, this gold. We're going to have all the gold. And if I'm not mistaken, we have a city-state that's waiting for us to pick up gold. There it is. Sidon? Yeah. Who just allied with America. But that's fine, because that's a way to get our military score up for free. Okay, time to talk about the great person. Let me do this first. We'll choose machinery next on our way to printing press. Great person. Now, historically, I just want to quickly point out that I do usually make great work. Somebody had asked why did I make a great work of writing instead of like waiting to bulb the guy later when we win the World's Fair and our culture is all expanded and stuff like that. And that seems like a lot of effort, and I'm sure it does pay off more in the end, but what we're looking for right now is culture right now, because it is science, thanks to the rationalism tree. But also, tourism is a defensive stat, and it's been a long time since I've been that far along in a game where it was like made a difference. But once people start choosing ideologies, there's ideological pressure, which leads to fluctuations in happiness. So tourism is happiness. It can be a defensive stat even if you're not going for cultural victory. So I mean, we can actually look here to see what tourism's looking like right now. Okay, that doesn't really tell me. Okay, so if that's 2, this would be 4, this would be 6. And this is Maria, she's right on our borders. And yeah, we're going to do what we can to keep our culture up, so her tourism isn't going to be that big of a deal. But And I wish I could explain this better. It's just been so long. Suffice it to say that tourism is necessary as a defensive stat, even if you're not. So I normally would make a great work with this artist. However, if I remember correctly, the problem with great works of art is that you have a slot in your palace right away, and then if you don't get cathedrals, like you can get to Hermitage relatively early, but after that you got to wait till museums. And even though it's just right up here, it takes a lot longer because there's just other stuff you want to get. So that comes much later. So the problem usually is, if I remember correctly, my first games my earlier games, I would make a great work of art, go in the palace, and then my second great artist would just sit around waiting for Hermitage to finish. Which is fine if that's the way we want to play it. However, I think the biggest deciding factor here, and we can go in here and just to double check, says our next one's coming in 20 turns. We're not going to have Hermitage up in 20 turns. But what I was going to say is the biggest deciding factor is we just had a golden age end, right? And yeah, if we use this to start a golden age, it pushes our points back. So the next one will be even later. But we literally just finished a golden age. So let's go ahead and pop this bad boy right here. I know that was a long way of explaining why I was doing that, but I just wanted to mention that because somebody was asking why we made a work of writing, and that tourism is helpful, even if we're not going for a cultural victory. And again, I apologize. I wish I could explain how that works better. Once we get closer to ideologies, maybe I'll look into that and take some time to explain that. But those are my thoughts. Alrighty, so let's see here. 1, 2, 3. Looks like we're going to miss out on visibility here. Also looks like we're approaching another landmass. Okay. Monaco. With silk, culture, we're first to meet them. And we have 1,000 gold. That's not insignificant. We have a couple of cities that are looking for silk, so we'd up growth in 2 of our cities if we bought this city-state. Culture ones are a really good one to buy because that gets you into your rationalism policies sooner. If we were ally, we would unveil, you know, their lands at a time when we're scouting this area, so that would help. And the fact that nobody's met them yet means we won't be stepping on anybody's toes. And I'm not terribly worried about the stepping on the toes part, but I mean, it could be a factor, right? We got to buy somebody, and more every turn we're getting notifications of allies going up. So this would be a good investment, I think. Let's just take a look at this real quick. We're going to have machinery in 3 turns. We have 4 composite bowmen. It's going to cost 400. And if we don't upgrade them immediately, that's fine too. So, but it does look like we will have enough gold even if we do buy this city-state. So yeah, this is really awesome. So we'll give a gift of 1,000, and there we go. A lot of visibility. We haven't seen a barbarian camp yet, and we can see a good amount of this island. It's not that big, and he does have a standing army, so chances are there's not one. But if there is, like in this cloud here, it will definitely notify us. That's how it usually goes. And if there's no barbarian camp here, then a scout would be able to get that. So let's see here. We're going to go by where that blinking light is. I know we have a scout that we set up here. Hey, what's Poland doing, I wonder? Okay. So just going off of what we can see here, let me try to center this guy as much as possible. It looks like the boat is pretty much level with us, maybe just a touch north. So let's see, 1, 2, 1, 2. We could borrow the road and land here like that, or something like that. So let's come up here. That's eyeballs. That's unfortunate. We do have the other scout coming down from the north. So maybe this will be a good time to have our knight come over here. Want to keep some eyes over here. Of course, if he's going to settle here, then that's not even going to be a thing we have to worry about. But okay, so we'll go chase after that ruin. And who knows, maybe it's an upgrade ruin, because at this stage in the game, a slinger actually wouldn't be bad. We're past the point where I would need such a thing to be a... Alright, so we're going to go back to feeding Cusco. Wasn't this the turn that we grew in this city? So we take this off. It still says 5. Does that mean if we lock 2 in, it'll say 4? It does. Okay, so let's just do it this way for now. That does save us a turn. And then next turn we can play around, see if we can still keep that growth rate or whatever. We might be building the amphitheater in the meantime just to because the Forbidden Palace isn't super duper important as far as like speed. I don't know why they're saying this. Oh yeah, we did just refresh. No, we didn't. I don't know. Yay! Alright, Notre Dame is ours. That's a lot of happiness. I am pleased. Poland stole theology. Whatever. Let's see. Loves the king. Loves the king. And gems come back. So we just increased our happiness significantly, and we have another luxury coming back. So we will want to address that. Olan has grown. We'll leave that there for now, but this farm will be ready next turn. Let's see here. Brussels seeks investors. That's item number 5. Calls for faith. Well, you know what? We're on top of that. We're not doing bad, and we just did finish Notre Dame. No longer seeks investors. So, yeah, here's an example. We could have paid for them, right? But I think we might have already have ivory. No, we don't. Okay, so we would benefit, but we would have stepped on Portugal's toes. And there's just no need for that. And right now, I think I might want the culture more than I want. Okay, they're no longer allies. Buenos Aires is in awe of you. Okay. I thought it seemed weird that we were friendly. I didn't remember it being that way. And in awe of us. Alright, so look at our score here. 116, and it's degrading by less than a point per turn. So we're going to have them for a long time, and that's great because they are responsible for 12 of our happiness. So we are going to need to keep them indefinitely. Right, so gems. Nobody with lump sum wants them, so let's just give them to the underdog. Maybe that extra happiness helps them get on. Speaking of which, we have so much happiness and so much gold intake that if we really wanted to, we could just start producing military and just go take a city or something, you know? So yeah, I mean, who knows how much of that is like, this is 12, well actually plus 3, so this is 15 by itself. And we still have happiness buildings we can build, so yeah, happiness is not going to be a problem anytime soon. So temple and amphitheater. Let's go with the amphitheater first, it's more immediate science. And Notre Dame is finished, so it would only take us 2 turns for amphitheater. Oh, you know what? Forbidden Palace. It says 8 turns here. What happens if we take one of these off? Okay, still 3. Let's try this. Still says 8 turns, but that's fine because 3, we grow, we work more hammers. That might be shaved down to 7. It just occurred to me that using a filler might not be a good idea because 2, 6, we're going to want to build the Leaning Tower of Pisa. On the other hand, we might be needing steel. Let's move our boats. This boat can pretty much see everything, so let's just start heading diagonally. We'll come underneath here and clear that cloud. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Wow, that's a tough call. Like, we didn't need military to come here. I wish I knew. Let me count off how many city-states we got here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. There's no way there's going to be an odd number. So there's at least one more city-state in the game, which means there's at least one more island in the game. And if we find it sooner rather than later, because we're on machinery, this is exactly what I was talking about when I was planning out our tech path. We might have time to go to steel before printing press. Obviously, we want to found the Congress. We want to build Leaning Tower of Pisa. But if we get this unit upgraded before it jumps in the water and heads out, all the better. So yeah, let's. Here's the thing: we're not going to be in competition for Leaning Tower of Pisa either. I don't think, because our science is such that I don't even think anybody else has reached that yet. Well, we know they haven't, or else the World Congress would be formed already. Probably not far off from somebody hitting it though. So yeah, let's go ahead and do the amphitheater before the Forbidden Palace. That way the culture gets ramped up as much as possible. especially since we are in a golden age and all of our culture's getting magnified. 4, 5. Okay, we'll have this guy come along until his visibility can trace this inner cloud, because we have reason to believe there's another island out there, and I want to find it so we can figure out what's going on. Ooh, settler. Shinies! I got distracted. Alright, so let's see. Whoop. It's within our movement, but it says 2. So that must mean the Polish guy's right there. I don't know where he's going, but if we block him like this, I don't think the AI is capable of recognizing when you're just being a jerk like this. So we can probably do this without penalty. And here we go. We occupied this spot. We can see this spot. So unless he puts a boat here, we can land there and just head probably relatively due west. There's a settler. Okay, so he's going nuts, occupying more land. Is that because we're starting to be a runaway civ and they're preparing to war against us? Curious. T1 grows, so production goes up yet again. You can see the bank's down to 9, and we have 5 turns. We'll grow again. So, yeah, we're finally restoring production in T1. That's very good news. Let's see. Can no longer construct Angkor Wat. Alright, so it's a good thing. I mean, Angkor Wat, the only reason to even build that is to satisfy city-states, and even then it's a waste of time, probably. So if we had bought them, no, we'd still have been the ally, but it's good we didn't, like, lowball it, and then turns out they get more rep for free. Alright, so let's see here. Growing 6, growing 5, so definitely do that. It's a crappy tile, but, you know, this city is so cramped, especially with the loss of that tile. That is such a blow. We're pretty limited on how far the city can grow, so we're going to take every opportunity to rake in as much fruit as we can. Alright, see, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, so that would be the diagonal we want. And here we go. This is kind of what I was talking about as far as the ice edges. Like, the most we have to worry about is something like this. There's no camp there now, but if camps get cleared, it might spawn there. Looks like it could produce a boat here and then be done. I wonder, can camps... I know with Raging Barbs on, it has to do with most recent tech. Does that mean a camp could spit out a caravel and literally come through the deep water? Holy crap, I hadn't considered that. Alright, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, and we're right on the latitude we want to be. So we'll just head due west with that guy from now on. This guy, we're coming under here. 1, 2, 3. Let's count it up. Oh, wait. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So we can go one more, and then we'd be on the latitude for clearing that one spot. But I think new landmass is more... Oh, yep, city-state. Alright. And look at that. It's at a latitude closer to where Machu is. So we could just launch from Machu and get there a lot quicker. A little quicker. Perhaps Lot was overselling it. Since our units can actually move faster on the water than they can on land right now. Minus the horse, of course. Of course. Alright, I'm going to step this guy down because I just noticed it's 1 turn till machinery. Might as well improve him. Let's see. We are going to make a great work, and I think the only place it can land right now is T1. Yep. Alright, so we'll just do that.
And the seeming confusion of a mysterious world. Individuals are so nicely adjusted to a system, and systems to one another, and to a whole, that by stepping aside for a moment, a man exposes himself to a fearful risk of losing his place forever.
Whoever they got to do the narration for this game, they did a really good job. They did a really good job with most of the music. It's a damn shame I can't have the music on while I'm recording, or else I get copyright strikes and have to share the monetization, and it's just a bunch of nonsense. The first time I ever got a hit like that was for the game Reckoning, and then I actually by email got in touch with the composer, and he was pleased that his work was getting out there. Alright, tried to pass, but this guy's automated. Alright, we'll get it next turn. We'll just say wait, and then we can get started on it right away. That's a nice piece of timing there. He gets up there, and then, come on, borders, grow.
The press is the best instrument for enlightening...
There we go, machinery, alright. Okay, you get started on that mine. So we got to keep our eyes peeled, right? Like, for some reason now it's going to grow back into the third ring, and then we're almost out of tiles in that third ring, but this is going to be the next one. Let's go ahead and upgrade our into crossbows. 3, 4. And I'm going to head this way just in case we do want like a melee and a archer. In fact, before we choose tech, I want to move my boats around, see if we can get a clearer picture of what's going on with all that in the water. Panama City wants my possibility. I hate that quest. Okay, looks like we have some Terrence Farms finishing up here. One there. We're actually at a point where the next citizen will occupy that, so that's pretty decent timing there. I think we're already manning that one. Yep. So onto the sheep for that guy. We'll have to buy that tile, and we might have to buy a couple promotions for swordsmen. So let us do this here. Cargo ship. Hang on, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I want to check out the boats. Let's see. One. Kuala Lumpur, unmet culture city-state, and yes, there is a... Okay, so they're cotton, but it's not developed for obvious reasons. Alright, so there's a camp there. We'll probably get a quest for that. We can return the worker, so yes, this is most definitely worth chasing after. So let's see if we can use the rest of his movement here to get slightly better eyes on the island. Okay. We should be able to move in one more. Alrighty, so it looks like it's in the middle. Yeah, this looks like coast. Okay, so it almost looks like a dog bone. But the point is the city-state's right in the center. So it's possible there's a camp over here and they're getting overrun. So indeed, I think it might be worthwhile to get some military flowing. Okay, cool. I'm actually kind of glad to see this because now our horseman is freed up to get down here, because this guy's actually going to head this way. That's why I walked this way to upgrade, even though this way would have kept visibility here. So let's see. Let's get our trebuchet out of here so we can get some more visibility over here until the knight shows up and the scout. And then what happens if we say we want steel next? It's only 2 turns. Alright. So when it says 1 turn left, this guy can move here. And then when it says 0, we can move and upgrade. That should be good enough for now. These guys can see this tile, so they might just keep on dancing there. Alright, so we've got some plans. Now I'm really glad I took the time to build that little extra military.
Välkommen.
Because if you count this swordsman for the knight we built, we technically just got done building all the units that we're going to be sending into the water, so this works out. Okay, lots of construction projects to select. In this city, we want Forbidden Palace. Yes. And we're about to grow, so this might be more like 7. We'll double check that next turn. Amphitheater is done here. Let's go to Temple before Bank. Yeah, we're making some decent gold, and we want people sending trade routes, but this is late game science, and I guess gold is indirectly by the purchasing of city-states. So, yeah, it's not that that's a problem. It's just that the build times on this. And, of course, with us taking the time to go here and then into printing press and then acoustics, at that point we will want to build opera houses in preparation of Hermitage, and then maybe economics, and then maybe Hermitage. I don't know. It's always I always get easily confused here. This is part of the reason why I do half-hour segments, so that I can take the time to just take a step back. When I'm recording, I kind of feel a little pressured to make decisions. Okay, so Ironworks is available now. That's another thing we could build in the capital. Unfortunately, national wonders can't be purchased, so yeah, let's get this temple up, and then we should be able to go into Bank here, and then maybe the happiness buildings. We will want harbors up in our coastal cities eventually, just because they're a requisite for seaports. But that's a little see, 43210. So actually, yeah, this is the diagonal we would want to occupy to get those. So next turn we can just start heading northeast. Okay, this guy's finally starting to head to the west. Alright, let's try and get some visibility. Okay, just want to see the city tile, that's all. Alrighty, so this guy's done here. We'll just have him hop over and do this next. Okay, cargo ship. Okay, so in 6 turns, this city, we grow. We're going to go over here. We already have a stable, so the moment we buy this, it'll be +1 hammer. That'll be nice. That'll be in 6 turns. It'll take them that much time to get over there, and then we'll develop it. And then we'll probably buy this tile. The thing I'm looking at is this city's kind of growing at the rate that the worker can develop tiles. So trying to decide if it's really worth sending the cargo ship here. Obviously more citizens is not going to hurt, it's just we wouldn't have the best tiles to work. You know what? Yeah, let's... Buenos Aires wants Taoism. Okay. I thought they wanted a trade route, but perhaps I'm mistaken. Let's see here. They're already being pressured by Olan, right? But they're not being pressured by Machu. Buenos Aires can be reached by Machu with boat, and that would add religious pressure. And that would lead to culture, that would lead to science. Okay, alright. Let's see. This guy's pretty much heading due west. Okay, so all we got left is the cargo ship. We are at the half-hour mark, so I'm actually going to end it here. I want to see what you guys think. Do I feed Machu, knowing that it's only going to grow to crappy tiles because this worker's been made to zigzag? And yes, I know this hill's undeveloped. I really wish I had developed it sooner, because every time we grow a citizen, we're actually missing out on a hammer being production focus. It's unfortunate. It's just the workers down here have been busy with all these Terrence farms and all the forests we've had to clear, and that's not going to end anytime soon. We want to do this. We probably want to do that. Then planes. Then I don't even care. We do have to consider specialist slots as those come up, so we might do that. Anyways, so that's the poll for you guys. Do I feed Machu from Olan, or do I relocate the boat to Machu so that we could add additional religious pressure to Buenos Aires, make a little extra cash, which is kind of meaningless, but get that culture up, get an ally relatively passively, and that ally would give us culture, which leads to science because we're in rationalism. Let me know what you guys think. In the meantime, this has been a lot of fun. We got Notre Dame, guys. That's so awesome. That'll frees us up to sell off all of our luxuries, gets our gold up, lets us buy more city-states, get some of that happiness back. I love this rhythm. It's a lot of fun. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next part. Take care.